Hello everyone. This is the second topic from the first group. The title for the scope of environmental performance evaluation. The content mainly for the following 7 elements. The first part is pollution subject. Environmental performance evaluation objects are mostly two. One is the government. The second is the enterprise. And the result of the environmental performance evaluation to the state and trend of the development enterprise is to be a big impact. So the EPE push is very important. Because there are different types of companies in society and they are located in different regions. The scope of environmental performance evaluation will change accordingly. The following 4 factors are examples of how scope can be influenced. The second part is the enterprise type. There are 2 business types of enterprise: productive enterprises and business enterprises. Productive enterprises' main business activities are processing raw materials, semi-finished products, finished products, and manufacturing goods. Business enterprises are mainly engaged in sales, logistics, and service business. By comparing different types of commercial enterprises, we can find that the production enterprises need to discharge waste materials and consume energy during production, so the pollution is higher. The pollution of business enterprises mainly comes from their energy consumption, such as emissions of greenhouse gases and pollutants from transportation, electric heating, and lighting. It can be seen that the environmental pollution of production enterprises is far greater than that of business enterprises. Therefore, in the process of enterprise environmental performance evaluation, it is necessary to establish an evaluation framework, indicators, standard weights, and evaluation methods respectively, according to the differences between production enterprises and operating enterprises. The third part is industrial enterprises with different pollution levels. Among the productive enterprises, according to the different degrees of resource consumption and pollution emission, they are divided into a class of heavily polluting enterprises. The environmental performance evaluation of enterprises in this kind of industry needs to design corresponding and targeted indicators and evaluation methods for the key problems, such as the collection of production raw materials, production process, and pollutant discharge type of enterprises in this industry. When conducting enterprise environmental performance evaluation, the following 4 points should be set respectively, according to the differences between production enterprises and operating enterprises: evaluation framework, indicators, standard weight, and evaluation method. The formulation of the evaluation framework is very important because it determines the direction of the evaluation and whether the results are correct. Part 4 is an environmental performance evaluation of enterprises in different regions. When evaluating the environmental performance of enterprises in different regions, we generally pay attention to the characteristics of the regions where enterprises are located. Therefore, the relationship between enterprise location and wind direction, upper or lower air outlet, often has a decisive influence on urban air quality. Part 5 is listed and unlisted enterprises. The environmental performance evaluation of listed enterprises is often more strict and detailed than that of non-listed enterprises. Here are 3 factors. First, have a certain capital and production scale. 2. The supply chain has A wide range and complex management. 3. Great impact on the environment. The environmental performance evaluation of listed enterprises need to disclose more environmental information like financial disclosure. Listed companies involved in transnational business need to show whether they meet the environmental access standards of a country or region through environmental performance evaluation. Part 6 is regional environmental performance evaluation. The management department needs to evaluate the environmental performance within the jurisdiction. In order to understand the environmental performance, environmental pressure, and environmental quality improvement in the jurisdiction, and use this information as the basis for the next stage of environmental policy formulation. In a certain region, there is a nonlinear relationship between pollutant discharge and regional environmental quality. Therefore, when evaluating regional environmental performance, the selection of environmental pressure and environmental quality indicators needs to coordinate the principle of regional difference and the principle of equity. The environmental performance evaluation of river basins and characteristic regions is very different from that of administrative regions. Firstly, the evaluation object of administrative regions is the entity, that is, the specific environmental management department. But the environmental performance evaluation of river basins and characteristic regions is the non-entity measures taken for the river basins and regions, such as policies, planning, etc. Secondly, entity objects such as management departments are considered when river basins and characteristic regions overlap with administrative divisions. A major issue in assessing the environmental performance of watersheds and characteristic areas is the availability of data. Because data collection is collected and summarized by administrative divisions, it brings some difficulties to environmental performance evaluation of watershed and characteristic region. To evaluate the environmental performance of river basins and characteristic regions, evaluation conditions, such as data collection, etc., should be prepared before and during the implementation of policies or plans, so as to evaluate the environmental performance of river basins and characteristic regions reasonably and fairly. Part 7 is performance evaluation of environmental factors. The environmental performance evaluation of sub-elements is more targeted than the comprehensive environmental performance evaluation, and the discovery of environmental problems and the improvement of environmental performance are also more effective than the comprehensive environmental performance evaluation. This is our membership list. This is our esteemed instructor. This is the list of references. This is the end of the presentation. We hope that everyone can learn something from it. Thank you very much for listening.